Now, I'm going to expose a few, well, exposure, maybe it's a strong word. I'm going to bring up to the surface some of the classic omissions of organizational scaling and agile transformation efforts that we see in the industry today. And you may work or consult or work for organizations that have done this. You have an organizational structure here, and you have all of the legacy structures from top to bottom, at team level, at project level, programs, portfolios, PMO, centers of excellence, etc. Just because you concatenate this with the word agile, or just rename it with blah blah agile or agile blah blah, does not really make it agile. And you probably have seen many instances of that within your companies, within your clients. So this is an example of, really not changing much systemically organizational, but creating an illusion of changes. Here's a more specific example. And by the way, some of these terms in a legend are really not true agile terms, are really not Scrum or agile terms. TOO here stands for Team Output Owner, who is a fictitious role that creates an illusion of being a product owner. Sometimes referred to as a PO proxy or team level PO. So, and TCAM is really, frankly, it's another fictitious role. Team coordination manager or agile manager, Scrum master, who creates an illusion of Scrum. But nevertheless, you got these so-called Scrum teams at the very bottom in the basement, working most likely in a very component-centric way, not delivering features, but on decoupled components that still need to be integrated. And you got Agile, used to be just regular projects, now Agile projects and programs and portfolios. But let's not forget that each one of these at every level may require a role to manage. So you actually have overloaded existing terminology with so-called Agile terminology, and you just essentially have relabeled the same. You have rearranged deck seats on Titanic, as we call it. Imagine you had a great Agile team or multiple teams working in sync. I'm assuming a positive intent, and I'm being ambitious about this now. We have some great feature teams, let's just say. Now, if you thought about this, in lean terms, in Scrum, in large-scale Scrum, you would have a customer, a face of a customer with their product owner, but also users, stakeholders, real customers, real users. And these teams, the ideal way to communicate would be directly, right? Through a very direct line, a very short conduit, no translation layers there. However, what happens if these teams are overloaded and overgrown with managers and conductors and coordinators and other roles that sit above and beyond and laterally? Lots of KPIs, rags, and metrics. Essentially, the same old stuff you used to have been doing all these years. But now perhaps you added the word agile to them, so they look and they smell differently. And you got some siloed teams now, still silos, still organizational compartments, but you just relabel them. And of course, the layers. And those of you that might be familiar with some of the industry-wide successful operating models and frameworks, they called frameworks, Agile frameworks, for some reason they're called Agile. You will probably recognize, you will notice, you will keep me honest, you will see the hint. Lots of layers, projects, programs, and portfolios. And then you ask yourself a question: what is communication style and pattern now between the teams and the customer? And you'll realize, gosh, it has become so convoluted, so many layers, so much translation going on. Now you may ask yourself a natural question now: where is customer centricity? How well can these people communicate, the teams, with the customer? How long is the feedback loop? I mean, where is the very notion, the very foundational principle of developers speaking directly to customers? Where did that go? Of course, cycle time is long, feedback loops are very long, convoluted. So I am not really hinting. I'm just saying this is one of many, many versions. There'll be more coming. And you're probably reading between the lines, of course. Hey, Gene, I know what you're hinted towards. We've done this. Our organization have installed it. Has installed it. Maybe they have. Maybe they haven't.